What's up, Vapers? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it's Fresh Build Friday. That's right, it's that time of the week again, where we get you ready for the weekend with a brand new coil build. So it's a new year, and I did a ton of build videos last year, so to be honest with you guys, I'm a little bit burnt out, but that's not going to stop me from continuing on this Fresh Build Friday thing that I do every single Friday. I just need your guys' suggestions. I will try to get to them as soon as I possibly can, but you have to understand that I'm just a guy. I'm just a person out here with a YouTube channel. I'm sharing with you guys what I normally would do every single Friday anyways. So with that, I'm just going to have to start collecting more wire and stuff like that, because a lot of these intricate builds call for very specific types of wire and stuff like that. So I'm really just going to have to kind of work on my collection. But one thing I wanted to let you guys in on is the fact that I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on devices rather than the build itself. So for the coming year, expect to see more device specific builds. If I want to do a build video on a single coil RTA, or whether I want to do a quad coil on a RDTA or something like that, that's kind of going to be the theme for this year's Fresh Build Friday series. But I will be throwing in some innovation along the way. As long as you guys keep suggesting me builds, really that's what I kind of feed off of. That is my fuel to keep going and keep motivated to do new builds and, just kind of push my own boundaries with that sort of thing. So keep suggesting me builds in the comment section below. If you got something you wanted me to do, just let me know down there and I'd be glad to check it out and see if I can manage it. So anyways, guys, I've got this Coil Art Mage Combo RDTA. That's what we're going to be building on today. And I haven't built it yet, just got it in the other day, and I'm really excited about it. So without further ado, go ahead and grab your mod, your addy, your wick, your wire, your tools, all that good stuff. Let's go down to the close-up view and build it up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I'm making some fused Clapton wire with my Clapton jig rig I got from vaped3d.com. Of course, I'll have a link in the description if you want to get one for yourself. Today I'm just going to be using some Mad Rabbit 26 gauge and 36 gauge Nichrome 80 wire because that's what I prefer to use. It's of course not the only wire to use for fused Claptons, but that's just what I prefer. Hey, so let's go ahead and get started. I've got my wire here. As you can see, I've kind of somewhat straightened it out pretty good. I think we'll have an easy go at this one here. So I've got a 3mm bit on the old jig, so we're just going to put that in like we normally do and start wrapping. Today we're going to be doing 7 wraps because, again, that's my personal preference. This is kind of like my go-to build nowadays is 7 wrap fused Claptons, 26 and 36 gauge. It's kind of easy for me to do at this point because it's the one I do all the time, so I've gotten a lot of practice with it, but I think it's got really good flavor, really good vapor production. I can vape it at a nice high wattage, and it's nice warm vapor, but not too warm or anything like that. So, and I know exactly how much wire I need to make 2 coils. So speaking of, I've got 1 coil all set here, so I'm just going to straighten out that first lead, clip it, and make another one. And just like magic, we have our set of fused Clapton coils. So let's get those out of the way, bring in our device. Today we're going to be building on this guy here. This is the new Mage RDTA combo. Pretty cool looking little guy. It's got a pretty unique build deck to it. It's kind of like the Turk RDA by Rig. Got these 2 little clamp posts, and it's going to be fun to build on. So first things first, let's get out our screwdriver and loosen up these posts. Oh, that's cool. They're actually spring-loaded, so they just kind of go up with the little screws there. And yeah, just like that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be really easy to build on this guy. Literally just kind of slide your coil through one side there. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. There we go. And grab our other coil and do the other side. So really easy build. The other cool thing about this device is that it comes with another set of posts. So it comes with a velocity kind of style post build deck as well. So yeah, if you don't like building on something like this, then you can use the 2 post, 2 holes per post deck, similar to the velocity, and use that one instead. So there you go. So I'm just tightening these down right now. And yeah, that was a pretty quick build, honestly. wasn't really expecting that quick of a build, to be honest with you. So let's just go ahead and get our other pieces of wire out of the way real quick, and then we'll straighten up these coils a little bit. Nudge them around, get them right where we want them. And it did kind of like, you know, deform the coils a little bit, but nothing to really complain about there. I could easily just kind of wrangle that wire back up to normal. The only other concern I would have with this device here is the fact that when you're twisting on your screws, you're actually tightening the device, the build deck, down onto this tank, which is kind of funky. I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess we'll worry about that if something happens to it, I suppose, and we'll have to wait until I do my full review on this guy here. So just going to trim off the excess wire. This can get a tiny bit tricky, I suppose, if your coils aren't positioned ideally, I guess, for the situation, but nothing I can't handle. Just, you know, clip, wiggle, clip, wiggle, clip, wiggle, like we normally do. And just like that, it's all done. That was probably one of the quickest builds I've ever done, so there you go. All it took was a little bit of straightening, and now we're just going to give it some heat to tighten up these coils a little bit. I've got my mod set at 45 watts, which is a good low wattage kind of pulse. I just like to slowly ramp up the temperature on these coils because I feel like that's the best way to do it. You get the best color out of them when they're at the low wattage. And also it just gives you an opportunity to kind of baby your coils at first, so you get out any hot spots without, you know, causing any major shorts or anything like that. So it's half for safety and half for aesthetics, I suppose. But there you go. Let's just gently brush across these coils. And we got some color going on in them already. And they're tightening up really nice, which I, you know, expected because I've done this build probably close to 50 times or something like that. This is literally my go-to build. This is kind of the baseline standard nowadays when it comes to my builds here. We're almost there. I think we're pretty good to go on the low wattage. Let's just crank it up to about 75. Give it a kind of mid-wattage test here. There we go. And yeah, it's glowing pretty nice. Just a little bit more tightening. Again, just, you know, making sure our screws stay tightened down all nice and secure. Which I feel like they are. And yeah, we're going to do it one more time at high wattage. So let's go ahead and crank this thing all the way up to 100. And do one little final pulse before we wick it. Beautiful. Looking good. I'm actually pretty excited to try this thing out. I've been seeing a few pictures all over Instagram and stuff like that, and I've been really curious about the performance. I'm really glad the people over at Coil Art were kind enough to send one of these things along. So thanks, Coil Art. Really appreciate it. And there we go. I think this thing is ready for some wick. And there we go. It's all done. It's all built up, and I gotta tell you, that was pretty darn easy. Definitely one of the easier RDTA builds that I've ever done. But yeah, the cool thing about this is the fact that you can take off the RDA base and check your wicking for your tank and make sure you got it all set before you actually fill up your tank with juice. But that's also kind of a bad thing because you have to take off this RDA base in order to fill up your tank with juice. So it's kind of a pro and a con in my book, but that's going to have to wait for the full review. So there we go. Let's go ahead and see some vapor production at 100 watts. Yeah, pretty much what I was expecting. Gotta tell you, that's pretty similar to any RDA build that I normally do, my standard Fuse Clapton build. So pretty nice. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of the video. Now let's talk about the coils that we just built. So my first category, as always, is the heat. Now this device here is kind of unique because it not only has bottom airflow, like Kennedy-style airflow, but it also has 4 side air holes as well. So right now I'm rocking it just with the Kennedy-style airflow open, and the top air holes are completely closed off, and I'm loving it. I love the airflow. It definitely reminds me of a Kennedy atomizer, and that's, I've probably said it 1,000 times, but my favorite type of airflow is the Kennedy. It just has just the right amount. It's just smooth enough for me, and it just is so satisfying. So that's really how I prefer vaping on this one, and it's just right. It's nice and warm at 100 watts, which is what I'm vaping at right now. It's just the perfect amount of airflow for me personally. If I opened it any wider, it would be too loose of a draw, and it would probably cool it off quite a bit. So right now, it's a nice warm vape at 100 watts. It came out to 0.22 right on the money. I'm vaping at 4.7 volts at 100 watts, and it's absolutely perfect in the heat department for me. So my second category is the ramp up and ramp down time. Now, there's a slight ramp up time. I feel like there's about, half a second of a delay between when I hit the fire button and it ramps up and I get the full draw out of it. As far as the ramp down time, let's go ahead and have a drag off of this thing and we'll check it out. So I'm getting about 1/4 of a second of heavy sizzle, then it just ramps right down into nothing within about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds, which is perfectly acceptable for me, especially at 100 watts on this device here. I feel like RDTAs are a little bit more difficult to wick as compared to RTAs or RDAs, and these things are more apt to have wicking issues. So 2 seconds, totally fine with me. So for my third category, the difficulty of this build, honestly, this thing is a dream to build on. I really love the spring-loaded clamps. Just having the ability to raise up those posts, slip your coils in, tighten everything down, straighten them up, and you're pretty much good to go right there. So for that matter, I really love building on this thing. It is super easy. For all of you out there that don't know how to build Fuse Claptons, get yourself a rig to do it. You can get the coil jig rig or the Daedalus or something like that. It'll make your life a hell of a lot easier. You don't have to fiddle with spinners or anything like that. It pretty much automates the whole process. So I definitely recommend that for the lazy vapor like myself. I know for you guys out there that might be having a little bit of trouble doing Fuse Claptons, that's going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. So definitely invest a couple of bucks in one of those. And for my fourth category, the one you've all been waiting for, the flavor. Well, today I'm vaping on some of this Ronin. This is Emperor's Crunch. I said I would do it, so I'm doing it today. This is kind of making up for the fact that I didn't do my first impressions in my e-juice pack unboxing a couple weeks ago. So I told you guys I was going to try it, and I did, and I'm glad I did because this stuff is delicious. It tastes to me kind of like Crunch Berries cereal with marshmallow or something like that. Really, really tasty, dense flavor. Yeah, it's just doing it for me. I don't know what it is. So actually, I just want to have a vape real quick. So I gotta tell you guys, I'm not much of a cereal vapor, but to be honest, this one is really tasty. I definitely would recommend it. And not to mention the fact that the flavor on this one here, on this device, is excellent. I'm getting top-notch flavor. I really, really, really like the bottom airflow. I think I'm gonna keep using it like that. I might experiment with those top air holes a little bit, but with the nice kind of slight resistance to it, and it just kind of reminds me of the Kennedy, I'm getting everything that I was looking for out of this device here. So yeah, so far so good with the Coil Art Mage Combo RDTA. Alright guys, so that about does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Of course, leave me comments in the box below about anything you want to talk about, whether it be a suggestion for a future episode of Fresh Build Friday or anything else you want to reflect upon. I'd love to discuss it down there in the comments section. Also, check out the advocacy links I have in the description below. I've got them down there for you so you can fight for your right to vape. And check me out on my different social medias. I've got Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow me on there, like my page on Facebook, check out my Snapchat, and if you want to give me a couple bucks on Patreon, that would be awesome as well. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.